Jeff, of course, Michael Lubie. It's very happy to welcome this gentleman to the program. It's always great having a basketball conversation with him. And think about, how great this guy is that after throwing a Henry Finkel reference at him, he still volunteers to be on our program. Suggesting that you would have Hank Finkel shooting a three. We welcome Ron Rothstein, the coach, to the show. And, of course, doing a great job as a Heat analyst now in his most recent capacity with the team. Coach, how are you? I mean, we haven't had this feeling here since like 1969. I mean, this is a real Cinderella story. How are you, my friend?
First of all, I do question my sanity every time I say
yes. What a way to ruin a morning, yeah. Do you believe, Ron Rothstein, and obviously well-versed in coaching experience, that if Eric Spoelstra was an assistant on Red Klotz's staff, that the Generals might have gone 500 against the Globetrotters? Is he that good?
Well, that's, come on now, be fair. You got to be fair. Come on, man.
Who would fit the category, I guess? I don't know. Auerbach?
No one. Maybe Lubie, but not you.
The time. Wake up with Defo. Welcome to the Defo Show.
I kind of dig it that you get recognition from the 80-plus-year-old Ron Rothstein, who's been in the NBA for like 60 years. And he always recognizes that you have some kind of basketball acumen, especially after you explain to him the virtues and the devious nature of the reverse triangle and two with regard to your defensing, which would have been very unique of Giannis Antetokounmpo, the potential every year MVP of the Milwaukee Bucks, who somehow the Heat have been able to at least contend with in whatever series they were involved against the Milwaukee Bucks, especially that one in the bubble, which is when you came up with that defense, Lubie.
Yeah, it was before Drew Holiday. It was before they had Drew Holiday, and Middleton wasn't a prime. Like, Middleton was an all-star caliber player, but he would fall short.
Yes.
My idea, and I was reverse triangle too.
Middleton is capable of that. Line drive brick type of shot, yeah.
My idea was focus on Giannis, build the wall. That's what they call it now, but I didn't know what they called it. It was just don't let Giannis get to the basket, make him shoot jumpers and see what happens. And you came up with calling it the reverse triangle.
The reverse triangle in two, yeah.
And you were making fun of me, and Rothstein was like, no, that
makes sense. When he made sense of it and actually did a verbal illustration. This was radio only. I mean, we didn't have the advantage of being able to pop the guy up on the screen there with one of those grease boards.
The telestrator.
But essentially, the triangle in two was, you were going to go ahead and have two guys that you manned up on, and the other three guys were going to be in a triangle zone. It's the old Jim Valvano thing. Did he invent that defense? I don't know.
No idea.
I'm not even sure it was a defense. But, it was an extrapolation, further extrapolation of the box and one.
Yes.
Which, of course, people would understand. You're going to have a zone there with four guys, and they're going to line up in some kind of a square, and then you're going to go one-on-one, mano on mano, with the team's best scorer. Box and one. The triangle and two then, involved trying to man up on two different defenders while the rest of the guys were playing would have to be a very soft zone. The reverse triangle and two, though, was a very, very innovative concept, Lubie, that you came up with, and that is put three guys on Giannis and then have the other two guys just as if they were wrestlers bouncing off the ropes, which I never understood exactly. Is that just to gather momentum? What was the purpose of the guys crisscrossing outside of the obvious entertainment effect that it has? But, what was the purpose? Like a wrestler would bounce off this rope and then go running across the ring and bounce off the other side. Meanwhile, the other guy is crisscrossing him the entire time, and then finally they collide in the middle. But what was the purpose? Were you trying to gather momentum by bouncing off the ropes? What was the deal on that?
Yes, you're trying to get momentum. You're trying to gain your speed. That was the whole point of it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it actually did, but that's what it looked like. It was fine.
I don't think. It seems to me that it was one of the most ineffective strategies that you could ever. Perpetuate out there on a court or in a ring in this case. But that was the concept though behind the reverse triangle and two, because the other two guys would be running like wrestlers back and forth trying to chase down the guy so they couldn't shoot threes out of the corner. And that was the only other thing that you had to protect against. And it worked. And Ron Rothstein actually acknowledged that as being a significant defensive approach. And this was a guy that, was behind the Pistons defense for many, many
Yes.
years, the bad boy Pistons.
No, he's the one. When the Jordan thing was big, when we talked to him about it because we knew he was on the staff, he said, "Yeah, it was me," and it was out of necessity. We couldn't stop Jordan, and we didn't know what the hell to do. So I went to Chuck. I have that clip somewhere. I went to Chuck Daly, and I was like, "Coach, I think we need to just beat the shit out of him," or something to that effect. It was like we need to be aggressive and we need to focus.
Back in the day, they allowed a lot of stuff to go on, right? It's Ben Drive City there. He's giving them the business. But it was largely, ignored by the officials because they didn't want to throw any of the stars out of the game. So, and there were thugs back then. I mean, it wasn't like, Rick Mahorn was going to treat you gently, was it?
No.
Never mind Lambeer.
No.
Rodman. I mean, he had some guys that could rough you up a little bit, and he wasn't afraid. And we asked Ron Rothstein that. We asked him if he had a background in professional wrestling, and he sort of hinted that he did.
He sort of laughed.
Yeah. So anyway, he acknowledged your brilliance here. And, once again, saying that you possibly could serve as a coach of a team, which maybe he saw you and, you're with those 8-year-olds that you were screaming at like a maniac. You got to shoot the ball. I'm not so sure I would feel safe if I enrolled my son at the time that he was 8 years old in a youth league. And they said, okay, here's your coach, Mike Lubitz.
I love him. What do you mean? I give them a speech at the beginning.
Not like you're getting Tim Legler, to coach the team or something.
No, not like
Gabe Billis. I mean, we're talking Lubie. All right, so what do we know about basketball? That would be the question. I'm trying to think about the origins of the term, people, and maybe you guys can help me out on the chat line. All of the good people that are on there all the time. I always enjoy the comments, and keep them coming, as they say. But the origins of the term, is this out of the sporting world? Run it back. Now, we're going to hear this applied to the presidential election, unfortunately, because they looks like they are going to run it back. And it's still, how ponderous was it what happened there on CNN the other night? The network that I used to turn to for all of the Trump bashing that I could possibly, consume. I just wanted to watch show after show of Trump bashing. And then instead, I mean, was this a makeup call? What was the deal there? They run this strokeology with Donald Trump, just saying outrageous things and going unchallenged. It was like the Peter Gammons interview with A-Rod or Katie Couric, for that matter. Alex, have you ever done any illegal substances or been outside of the parameters of what's allowable to put in your body by the standards of Major League Baseball? Have you ever done any steroids? And Rodriguez would stop for a second and look, and very much looking like a complete liar, a lying piece of shit. And he would look at the camera like Pete Rose saying he'd never been on baseball and say, no. And then Kirk go, you know what? It's so wonderful that you met somebody you're in love with. I mean, there's this thing, with J-Lo or whatever, if it was her at the time.
It was J-Lo.
And Gammons was, okay, A-Rod, that's acceptable. Now, what about a situational hitting, spot where you're up and there's two away? Would you ever bunt in this spot? I'm like, what? How could you just let the guy off the hook like that? Which is kind of what they did with, El Presidente there with, CNN. That was unbelievable, right? Just making shit up.
Well, they're leaning conservative now. They're not, Fox, but they're trying to be more conservative. I forgot why. But
whatever they're doing, I don't know that it's going to work. I mean, they had a bunch of people on there that weren't particularly or overwhelmingly interesting, but they were up every. Half of the battle, Lubie, is having a platform, is it not? I mean, what you do with it, for some reason, you will be respected. Even if the public despises you, they still, for some reason, hold you at on some level of a pedestal. Do they not? I mean, have you found that? Like Chris Cuomo when he was on. I mean, what was he doing? He had a great set of teeth. It looked like Secretariat's dentist also took care of his teeth. Other than that, though, I mean, a little bombastic, that kind of thing. But, but known for the Trump bashing. This business now, Lubie, it scares me. I mean, because, I do like watching news shows in spite of the fact that there isn't a whole lot of good news going around anymore. And it really is frightening to see what's happening in the United States of America all the way around. all the way around. People are just mishugging it now. It's absolutely crazy, and unfortunately, I mean, we do have issues here. I mean, we shrugged off again, Lubie. I mean, it really, it's baffling to think that we shrugged off like 3 mass shootings last week and just kept talking about the Knicks. Hard to just overlook that sort of thing. Much like our discussion on the Kentucky Derby with the problems that happen there. A friend of mine had a theory that, and I don't know how valid this one is. I'm not sure that I'm buying the equine Dr. Fauci, Mike Mayo's theory about the COVID stuff.
No.
Because, a lot of this was related to injuries, but is it possible, Luby? And I was on my walk of life. I ran into my friend Joe, who we used to be neighbors. And, since I moved down the block here, I only see him occasionally as we cross paths because he likes to do a lot of long distance walking too. And his theory was that because Churchill Downs has a lot of construction going on, that maybe that contributed to some of the injuries of the horses.
That's
Is that possible?
Okay.
They left debris out on the track. I don't know. I mean, does that seem a little odd?
But wouldn't we have heard of that? Like, that's the thing is we're not hearing what's going on. Wouldn't they have gone right to that? Like, that's weird.
Yeah. See, because there was when Santa Anita had, and rightfully so, was immersed in just tremendous controversy. Had to shut down for a while. I mean, you think the PETA people were screaming, all of America was screaming, like, what the hell is going on out there? It was Lombardi time, as they had like 40 horse deaths due to injuries, and it had to do with the track surface. They couldn't figure out. It was a mystery. It was kind of like the diagnosis of what my problem is with my wrist. And stop thinking that, everybody. If it is true, if the internet was around when I was a teenager, I would have masturbated myself to death. There's no question.
Are you kidding me?
But I don't think this problem stems from that.
No, it's swollen.
I mean, accumulation of blows, I guess, that might be. But the urgent healthcare, all of those people that were pushing me in that direction, complete waste of time. Absolute waste of time.
Like, they didn't take blood. Like, I don't get it. Like, what do you mean? Like, did they see?
You know what? I mean, they had like a doctor that looked like he just, I mean, a nice kid, but, I'm wondering if he finished the University of Guam or just got the job after that. Because, I mean, I could have told him, more about it than he was telling me. Let's put it that way. Of course, I'm the one experiencing the, discomfort, as they call it. But all I was looking for was the guy to just juice me with a little cortisone and get me out of my misery. And that was never in the on the table. In fact, I don't even think he had cortisone available there, which is kind of crazy, isn't it? Right? You're in an urgent care place. You would think that some kind of pain relief medication would be readily prevalent. No, they would just be juicing everybody. It was like Victor Conti ran the clinic.
Well, they should have a prescription. Like, did they do Did they do a blood test? Like,
after the fact, the guy said, if you want, we can run a blood test to see if this is somehow related to gout or something. But it's like I'm looking at it, going, I don't know. There's a reason I'm here, and it isn't to have these kind of vagaries. Because by the time I get the results of the blood test, I'll already be seeing another doctor. That's the thing. So what's the point, right? They couldn't help me, basically. They gave me 2 Tylenol and said, thank you very much.
What the fuck are you gonna do with Tylenol?
Yeah, no, so that was bad. I mean, I don't think doctors really want to do anything anymore. They just don't. They don't want to make any moves.
They were good for Shirley, but she just had like a cold/illness when she came back from India.
Yeah,
all the pollution's fucking.
All right, so they give you some antibiotics and
and that worked like a champ for her, right? But it wasn't like an actual physical ailment, I guess. I don't know. That's weird. That I thought they would have done a blood test and given you some ideas and gone down shit like that.
Speaking of ideas, which one of these do you want to pick up on from Jim Sarney?
Jesus Christ. I love that he said top of
Yuri Perez's MLB debut.
Go to MLB Network, and I'm sure at some point they'll get, and then go to NFL Network. Literally.
Oh, the Dolphins schedule. I love preseason schedule analysis.
I hate it. I think it's the stupidest.
It's we always run it by our good friend Tony Segreto. I mean, it was an embarrassment when he had to do that, wasn't it? Now, naturally, Tony handled it with a lot of dignity and his usual class, but and so it seemed important. But what you're looking at it going, what is the meaning of this? There's no meaning to it whatsoever. If the Dolphins play the Jets in December and Aaron Rodgers has already quit the team and left New York because he can't take it anymore. I mean, because he was ridiculed, to lengths that what would constitute major bullying in any situation. And so he leaves. How can you tell how the Dolphins are going to do in that game? You don't know what the hell's going to happen out
The
there, right?
schedule is dumb because it's like, well, it's a tough schedule. Yeah, depending on last year,
Yeah,
Broncos were supposed to be scary because they had just added Russell Wilson. They were ass.
they were patsies. Patsies.
Packers were supposed to be scary because they were coming off another
Yeah.
NFC Championship game. They were horrible until the middle of the season, and then they finished weak. The schedule, I hate that.
Impossible to judge. You have no way of knowing. I mean, especially with injuries, no way of knowing what a team is going to look like at the time. I mean, if you looked at the Lions in the beginning of the season last year, they were getting, they were scoring a lot of points, but they were losing every game. And you're thinking to yourself, are they the best 1-6 team? And if you looked at that last game, Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, and a lot more promise than they displayed throughout most of the season last year, against Detroit on closing night, and you're thinking, wow, the Lions suck. They have Dan Campbell as their head coach. We don't know. Is this guy man or beast? What is he? We're not sure.
Man or beast.
And, can he coach? Well, we don't know. Jared Goff at quarterback, has had several Jekyll and Hyde type of turnarounds inside the same season. No, he's mostly been either really good or really bad for whatever, for whole years, right? Jared Goff.
Yep.
Started out, it looked ugly. Then he started to show signs of life. Then he gets dealt because they decide. McVay says, "Hey, I don't know if this guy will ever win." Right? Never.
Yep. That was it. He liked Goff. They gave him a contract, but the way he played in the Super Bowl, it scared the crap out of him.
Yeah. So and then he goes to Detroit, and it doesn't look like much. And then last year he was great.
Yep. But yeah, I mean, going into this, look, the Cardinals, they had made trades, and the Cardinals were supposed to be great. They were a disaster to the point where they fired their coach.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can't tell schedule that, so that's off the table, right?
I hate that idea about the schedule.
By the way, what do you think about the opener? Is going to be tough, huh? Chargers on the road. I only said that because it's asinine. I mean, to even consider, we don't know what's going to happen, right? Herbert might get hurt in preseason, and then it's all over the place. Okay, what was the other one? I just clicked on something I didn't mean to.
Gary Perez. He's actually.
No, the drop in wholesale prices of eggs. I'm all for that.
That was the third one.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would talk about that here.
Well, because we're talking about goose eggs usually when it comes to baseball, and it's a whole Yuri Perez story. All right, so we're going to ignore that because we're going to have the Greek coming up here in just a few minutes, about 10 minutes away from that. We do need to dive into what's happening tonight, and I started talking about 20 minutes ago about the origins of the term "run it back."
Yes.
Run it back. We're going to be hearing that a lot. We got off on a Trump thing. We're going to be hearing that a lot in the election. They're going to run it back. Biden versus Trump. That's not something you wanted to see. Now, my recollection of the use of the whole concept of run it back was maybe there was one guy, you just lost a game of full court, and you saw, a couple of guys coming towards the court, but they hadn't quite reached the sidelines yet. And you immediately look at the guys on the other team and go, you want to run it back? And this way you shut those guys out from playing. And you got another game in before you had to decide, or had it decided that the loser was going to have to sit out a game or two. Run it back. Or you were...
sinister to me. It was what Andy said. It was you're playing. You were deciding, do we go? Do we stay? And you're like, fuck it, let's run it back. So
run it back. Okay, that could be an application of it for sure.
That's all I know. I didn't know it as.
Or you had a particularly good game, and you say, hey, you lost by a point in overtime or whatever, and you just look at the other guys and say, you want to run it back.
Yes, that's what run it back meant to me.
Or keeping the same sides. Could it also apply to that?
But that's what it means in sports. I don't know if it means, do they take it into the outside world? I guess it does fit for matchups in politics, but usually I hear it in sports. You hear them saying, oh, we're running. Like when the two teams will play in the championship game again, which happens, we've seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, they're running it back. When the Heat and the Spurs play 2 years in a row, they're running it back. Yes, that is what they will say a lot.
All right, so we're running this back from Wednesday night is where I was going with all of this. It took 20 minutes to get to that. We're running it back from Wednesday night, where I try to be optimistic, Lubie. I don't know that I really had that much conviction about both of the teams winning, our local teams that are involved in the playoffs. The 8 seeds, the Cinderella stories, both in commanding positions. The Miami Heat, of course, were at Madison Square Garden in New York to take on the Knicks. The Knicks had shown nothing, in my opinion, nothing, 0.0. I was not overwhelmingly impressed. I do like the Brunson story because it seemed like, the rhetoric around the time was that had the Knicks done enough? The New York media was infatuated with the Brunson acquisition, and it tended to rate it as, being what it turned out to be, which was pretty darn good, right? I mean, if you wanted to help your team and you had been struggling since Frank Ntilikina was a draft pick of Phil Jackson's, since Mark Jackson retired, you've been struggling at the point guard position. There were times you were just hoping that Clyde Frazier would rip off that suit that he's wearing as he's doing the color analysis and get into the game. Sucked at the point guard position, and they tried a lot of different things, and none of it worked. So now they have Jalen Brunson coming in, and I mean, he had shown signs that I don't know that he had shown that he was capable of this,
Oh,
Lubie.
I mean, last year the Mavs run to the conference finals, he was huge and he played really well. But a lot of people, including myself, thought it was because, well, you're focused on Doncic, so someone's going to pick up for it. He's the focus for the most part, and it hasn't stopped him. I mean, his game last game was fucking ridiculous. 38, 9 and 8 or 38 9. Like
he's playing, with a determination that borders on reckless abandon, my friend, but with discipline. It's not reckless at all.
He's playing really well. He's become their best player. What is he, a long term on a team that's trying to win a title? I don't know, but he's a lot better than I thought he'd be. I thought it was okay, good for you, Knicks. You got a nice guy. And you'll be an 8 seed. You'll be a 9 seed. Like I was very wrong about the Knicks. I was very wrong about him. And the fact that it continued into the playoffs has flabbergasted me. Like he's tiny, but he gets.
It's actually exceeded what he did in the regular season so far in the postseason. I mean, the driving force behind the Knicks still being alive and having an opportunity to possibly force a Game 7 if they can wake the fuck up in Miami, which I don't know that they can do. I'm not sure. I don't know what it is. Obviously, home court in the NBA is far more important and significant than it is in the NHL, where the visiting teams still hold a reasonably decent edge in overall play in the postseason. Although things, started to take a little bit of, follow a little bit more form in the NHL last night with the Dallas Stars beating Seattle. Is it over, that Cinderella ride? Your Seattle Kraken, they're now down 3-2 to the Dallas Stars in their series. Looked like, they were in there with a real shot. That would have been something else, huh? Have a second-year expansion team competing for the Stanley Cup. Well, we had it after 3 years, right? I mean, imagine that was remarkable, wasn't it? And the unfortunate thing is it was destined not to repeat itself.
Well, they also they got cute. Like, it's funny, the group that they had was not pretty, and as it was taking out much bigger and better and more famous teams, you were shaking your head like, how the hell is fucking Scott Mellenby, and like, how is this even happening?
Scrudlin was my man.
But it worked. And instead of just riding with it, they're like, oh, we could get Bure. And look, again, it's cool to go and get the flashy item. Like, that's fun. Ask Yankee fans. But it's fun in the off season. Like, when the season happens, there's a reason teams like that win. Like, once you start tinkering.
Especially hockey, man. When you get a bunch of grinders that are going strong like that, it's fantastic.
Who knows what they would have done? I don't know if they would have been a dynasty, but it would have been cool to see what they could have done. But they went for the big fish, the Whale and Pavel, and they were fun, and he scored a lot, and they got, like, I guess, an 8th seed. And then they were a Pavel Bure team.
Pavel was worth every penny, man. Just for bringing Anna Kournikova to the ice. Yeah. who remains phenomenal. I mean, if you've seen any recent activity of Anna Kournikova, she's been doing some TV spots. Not so much in the U.S., I guess in Europe. And as lovely as ever, Lubie.
No.
I used to bring my binoculars to the arena just, so I could capture any kind of a glimpse, close-up of Anna Kournikova. She's the type that has ruined me my entire life. Not that I've ever had, women of this level attractiveness. Let's put it that way. No, I mean, stone gorgeous to this day.
Yes.
Anna Kournikova. Pavel was great, man. How did he play with that kind of bounce in his step while he was? I mean, that would talk about women weakening legs, Lubie. That would rough. Let's hope they're not weak tonight. I don't know. What do you think? You're not optimistic. You have the Heat winning, closing out the Knicks in 6, and do you have Toronto winning a game 5 and sending the series back here for what then would be not only a pivotal but possibly a conclusive game 6?
I have look, no, with the Heat and the Knicks, it's logic. If you look at the way the series has gone and the way the Heat have played at home and the Knicks did struggle down here, you would think that he would close out tonight.
I wouldn't even send my starters down here if I was Thibodeau. I would have left them in New York and just.
I'm not definitive about anything.
Why don't you guys take the night off here because we're going to lose.
With the Heat. The Heat are horrible at shooting threes, but then they fall in love with shooting threes. So I don't know what to do with it. That it really annoys me, that style of basketball, and the fact that the Heat do it, even though they don't need to all the time. I don't get it. So we'll see. We'll see what they're doing in that regard. But yes, they should close out tonight. I would put money on it. I wouldn't touch that game. I'm just going to sit there in fear. The Panthers, I don't think they're going to blow it like Mayo's sort of concerned about, but to think the Maple Leafs are going to close out their season at home, I find hard to believe. Like, I think that series will come back to South Florida, and then the Panthers, even though game 6 would be scary because you've gone from 3-0 to 3-2, I think at that point I could see them then closing it out in 6.
Man, you know what I love about hockey, especially in a postseason, because you see it, it seems to present itself with more clarity, is just how abstract the game is, right? Where you have two teams that are annihilating each other physically. And the demands of the game, I mean, think about it. Guys only stay on the ice for like 90 seconds, Louis. These guys are as aerobically fit as you could possibly be, like track stars. And yet, I mean, you can only do this for like 90 seconds at a time, and then you're exhausted. You have to go run into the bench and rejuvenate yourself. And, you look, a guy that plays like 25 minutes played a lot of hockey. But after all of that, the game is usually decided by like blind luck.
Fluky stuff. That's the problem with hockey to me. It's a lot of
great. I mean, just complete blind luck, like the puck taking some obtuse bounce.
That's what it is.
Hitting like your own guy and going into the net, and that's what does you in.
That's my problem with hockey.
There's 10 guys standing in front of the goaltender there, like they were, out there picketing, at, some business. It just, impossible to see through that. I don't know how they do it. Although the goalie with the equipment covers the majority of the net, does he not?
He does.
What's this new thing, too, where the net gets knocked off and they just keep playing? I like that. No, it's been great. Let's hope that both of these teams can close out their series tonight. As we say, we're running it back. Andy acknowledges that it was a way to freeze people out. Yeah.
Oh, shit, that guy's coming. Come, let's go.
Yeah. You see the guy. Oh, yeah, there's Lou and Joe. Okay, you want to run it back? Yeah, let's run it back, man. Let's start right now. Here, your ball. Not even going to argue about who should have the first possession. Here, your ball. Take it out.
Here, go.
If you had just lost, because you don't want to be like, hanging around there when these guys actually got to the court where it made it official that they were waiting for the next game. And, they immediately inquire, hey, you guys done yet? Oh, no. We just started.
Sorry, we just started. You can get next.
Right. Come back in a half hour. It might be, might be 11 all by then. All right. We got to run. The Greek's going to join us here. We'll see what he thinks about the games tonight. I think he's betting some pucks, too, isn't he? He gets that steam out of Las Vegas, so that'll be fun. And later on, we will have the professor, and then Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, will join us here in his capacity as the Gambling Gourmet, where he's really becoming confused as to his various identities, is he not? Because, he got into some real minutia yesterday. He was kind of just... what did he have? He had a recap of like the 18 horses, all 18 of them, where they finished in the Derby.
He started talking Derby.
How about Italian restaurants? Come on, man. Rank your top 18. It's like, yeah, this one finished 16th. This is a fine one.
It's like Hank had taken over.
Yeah, Hank took over his persona, right. I had the 2, but I had him with the 5, and I had him with the 6. I don't know what happened. I'm going to blame you. It's your fault. Right? Then he would get angry at the audience here that he fucked up a bet. It was great. I sat with Hank on many of those kind of episodes. Yeah. Sonny was the best. Sonny Hirsch was the best at exploding when he would lose a bet. And this guy was a stone degenerate, man. He was great.
But he didn't do horse racing, so he got super into sports wagering.
All sports wagering, yeah. Sports wagering, and that was definitely through a bookmaker because there was none of this stuff going on that's going on today. None of it, right? So, and Sonny was, either showing up with the cash, no wonder he had to fudge those expense reports. My God. Come back from Nebraska there from the College Baseball World Series. That was a 2-week thing. So, I mean, you had like a stack of receipts. And Sonny somehow managed to spend like, $3,200 on dinners. Meanwhile, we know that he was betting the Red Sox every night, and they were on a 6-game losing streak. It was great. All right, the Greek coming up in just a minute here on the Defo Show. Jeff DeForest, Mike Lubie. Lubitz, a Degenerate Friday is underway, and we're happy to have you with us. So we'll be back with more in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Yeah, that was funny when they called us to the carpet there, and both of us had put in. I had paid for the dinner that we had with the coaches, but Sonny also had it on his expense report. So it's like, which one of you guys? Now, what am I going to do? Am I going to rat out Sonny? He's the veteran guy, voice of the Hurricanes. Or do I eat it and look like a, completely dishonest schlep? Because I was also fudging a little bit to make up for my losses at XR Ben. What do you think, Libby?
I'm ready to go to break. I don't know. No comment.
I'm like Matt Getz here. I mean, it's 7:32.
Folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs unmatched. Steaks hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.
It was Cap Day had called her. The woman in my life was getting nothing.
But they get you. I mean, to meet a guy
Get out
like
of here.
you,
That's a disaster.
You know where you're at?
One doesn't work.
You got to go to Port Authority like 3 a.m. to meet somebody like you. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Fetal position somewhere in the corner, maybe thinking about just jumping in front of a train.
The Defo Show, featuring Lubie. Welcome back to The Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show. A Degenerate Friday's underway here. The Heat and the Knicks tonight, and that's at the Kinshasa Zaire Arena. And then also tonight on the slate, and they'll have to catch this somewhere, a bar or something, the TV. Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, with the Leafs trying to hang in there and force a Game 6 as that game will come from Toronto. We welcome to the show a man who's been all over this, and I think he finally, broke back into the category of being a sick, degenerate gambler again and getting involved in virtually every game. We welcome the Greek to the program. Greek, how are you, my friend?
I'm great, Steve. How are you? Libby, what's going on? Big
Morning.
week. How's everybody feeling?
All right, now help me out here. You're still doing the 3 to 5 radio show on 1230, The Degenerate.
The Gambler.
The Gambler.
Yeah, I'm on and off with that. We're going to go full-time again in September. And then we started a new podcast, the Greek Zone podcast. That's every other week. That's being filmed. And it's up on our website. It's also on YouTube.
Very nice.
But crazy week, a lot going on. I ended up going to the Heat game last week.
Oh, yeah? Get out of here.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I went up to Jersey, and I saw my mom first time in a long time, long overdue. I knocked on the door. She said, "You got my check?"
Yes, excellent. What part of New Jersey was this taking place, this meeting?
Northern part.
Okay, all right. I'm not familiar with. I mean, all I know is when the plane lands in Atlantic City, it's about 20 minutes to the hotel.
Atlantic City, no. I go into North. Atlantic City is, the dive of the city of Jersey.
I think it's a thing of beauty. I really do. The poor man's Las Vegas, in my opinion.
Yeah.
With a little bit of Jersey flair to it, man.
It is the poor man's Las Vegas.
Yes.
First of all, I fly into JetBlue's got a new terminal, right? And it's brand new. Nobody works there at all.
Yeah.
There's more wise guys in the airport than there are people who work there. It is nobody knows anything.
There's nothing happening there. It's amazing. A couple of junkets coming in. That's about it.
That's classic.
No, it's packed. It's thousands of people. And it's such a shame where our society is gone today, where everything's a kiosk, everything's self-checkout.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I go into this area where, everybody knows. You go to airports, newspapers, soda, trinkets, T-shirts that say Jersey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I looked at it, said Jersey. I said, "Who wants to buy this shirt?" This guy looks like a half a wise guy next to me, and he goes, "Are you telling me there's no cashier?" I said, "No." I said, "You put your credit." He goes, "I'm just walking out."
What happened? And the FBI was all over this guy. I mean, you would have thought he was, Matt and Sweat when they found him in the woods there outside of Dannemora.
It's so crazy and it's so sad that there's nobody. I mean, really.
Yeah.
And everything's it's brand new, JetBlue. I think it's a year. So everything's very high-end technology. And you know what I always find out is, and I'm being dead serious, like people under 30, they get it. But people over 30 or 35 don't know what they're doing. And for the most part, they're confused and they look for help and there's nobody there. And everybody points. Everybody points. I'm like, what am I, a Penn and Teller? Nobody points.
Yeah, I used to be able to, stop somebody and say, "Hey, you know what aisle the Q-tips are on?" But now that doesn't happen anymore.
There's nothing at all. It was good to be up there. And then, you go on the plane and some guy doesn't have headphones and he's flipping out. And he's like, I got an extra pair. He goes, "How much?" I go, "Dude, I'm giving you a headphone." He goes, "You want them back?" I said, "No." He goes, "Wow." He goes, "You're nice." I said, "Don't worry, I got screwed by women for millions."
This is a pleasure, to eat this for sure. Hey, I was going to say, we brought this up, because I had done some traveling, with the great late Sonny Hirsch. And, he was inclined. I mean, he was betting every game on a board, back when there really weren't that many sources to place these wagers. Yeah. So he was doing it with a bookmaker and obviously had to come up with the cash every week. So we would go on the road and, I got called on a carpet at a radio station at WIOD because they cross-checked the expense reports that we had both filed, Sonny and I from Omaha, Nebraska, 2-week trip to the College Baseball World Series. And so, we had I had actually paid for a dinner for the baseball coaches, right, on Sonny's instruction. He said, "Put it on your card there, kid. This way we'll balance out these, expense reports." And then Sonny had also submitted a bill for the same dinner. So have you ever done it? I can't imagine a man of your class, distinction, and means, and with your approach, that you ever fudged an expense report to compensate for gambling losses.
No. Me?
Yeah.
I got to pay for my bosses.
Because some of these guys that we work for like to send it in. I was surprised at the levels that they were sending it in, denomination-wise.
Yeah. Well, nobody cared about anything. I mean, years ago, you just walk in, you need 10 tickets. Now, forget it. You got to give an email, who's your going to, how much I spent. I only had one boss in all my years pay for lunch for me. Everybody else I went out with, I had to pay. Everybody.
Well, because you were the big kahuna Greek.
Big kahuna, have some respect. I mean, have some respect. The check sits there. I look at it. I go, dude, it ain't going to grow arms.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the boss. He's the boss.
It's collecting dust.
It never fails. Yeah. Everybody comes in our studio where we say, wow, these are beautiful chairs. And I'm my father. You know me. Lubie knows me. I always said, buddy, I bought them. And they go, yeah, right. I did buy them. I bought the chairs at our studio. I mean,
Really?
like, forget about it. Yeah.
Oh my God, Greek. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I bought light bulbs. I mean, everything.
We wouldn't go that far. We would just complain
No.
about the pathetic
No,
equipment that we were left with. Yeah.
You guys have a beautiful studio. I mean, 940 was beautiful.
Oh no, it was nice. Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. And where I'm doing my podcast now in Boca, it's by Funky Biscuit. It's this podcast.
Oh, I know that place. Yeah, I know the place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
Mayo was
nice.
just talking. Our buddy Mayo was there. He was just talking about.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's really nice. And my sponsor is Tequila 512, by the way. Just if anybody wants a good tequila.
Very nice.
Because I don't do anything unless I'm getting sponsored. I get out of bed in the morning. My buddy goes, "Are you sponsored to get out of bed?" But, no,
Your snoring is sponsored by
Derby,
some breathing tool. Yes.
what did you think of the Derby? I had that horse.
I liked it. We made some money. It seemed like everybody, with the exception of Lubie, which he didn't really have enough of an investment to be overwhelmingly concerned that he lost. As had he put a little bit more money into it, he would have scored. Yeah.
I tried to an exact. I had the winner.
Yeah,
That was my problem.
it bothered me that week that the horses obviously, 4 or 5 horses passed
Wow.
away, and
7.
I want 7. Yeah, for me, I'm like you with horse racing. I love it.
Yeah.
And this is the gambling aspect. That's one of it, obviously. But I enjoy the sport, and I just wish the sport somehow could pick up some young momentum with younger people, but it can't. And it just seems like it's like the Super Bowl when something bad happens to one of the guys, and it's the whole headline. And that's what I heard from everybody. Oh, there's 5 horses died, but I beat the Bob. I'm like, all right, but it happens. Obviously, it's a sin. But I just wish the sport would get a little bit more heat. I just don't think it will.
You know what, though? I mean, it's like boxing. People have been saying that the sport's dead for the last 50 years. And it persists, right? I mean, you have more money being bet on this year's Derby than probably any previous. And that seems to happen year after year. Now, that's just a one-day event. The nuts and bolts of the sport, happen out there, on a Wednesday afternoon when some guy's got to pick up a check for winning the 5th race. And it's, cheap claimers. But I mean, there are a lot of theories about it. Too much racing. That's been out there forever. What to do about this? We wrestled with it a little bit.
It's like baseball. It's just the younger kids, people don't get into it. Just like baseball, it's the same. What surprises me with horse racing is because the younger generation doesn't have an attention span, which we know, and horse racing is quick. I mean, the 20 minutes in between races, that's one thing, but you can bet on it. And that's where I just find, I'm surprised that, they don't do it. But
I think once these people get, I see it just persisting. I mean, I see enough young people at racetracks, to make me think that, yes, there are some really sick degenerates that are under 20. That are out there sustaining the sport, yeah.
Yeah, in the 20s, like this month I'm in Cigar Aficionado. All right, there's a plug for myself.
Yeah.
And years ago, cigars were looked at as somebody who was old.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then it became, what I'm trying to say, then it became a hip young thing, Michael Jordan, all that. And now the young kids, and I'm out all the time, which I'm at strikes and different cigar bars.
Right.
I see so many young kids there, and that's where I hope, because I own a horse. I love a horse like you, and you love the sport too. I mean, yeah, you love to bet on it. We know that, but you still enjoy the sport. And I wish they did some things that could possibly bring the younger demographic. The only thing I think that they could do is get some younger people to endorse it. Younger cats who people look at as cool or hip, and maybe they do it, and maybe I would do it.
Yeah.
Again.
I mean, it takes a little bit to understand. That's one of the problems. I mean, the language of baseball isn't as prevalent as it used to be when I was a kid. That's all we thought about was baseball, Greek. I mean, growing up. And, I've said it many, many times, and it's true. I mean, football was just a diversion, and something to, kind of take your mind off the fact that, the World Series was over and pitchers and catchers hadn't reported yet. That's all anybody cared about. Far from it today, though. I mean, these things evolve. But yeah, go ahead.
You got some time on me, but I'm saying, but when we were kids,
sometime
corner of the garage. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would go, the football be in the corner, then it'd be done. You pick up the basketball, then the basketball is done. You pick your glove. You know what I mean? Kids, they don't do that today. They're on the internet and they're bebopping around and they're, and that's why the society is half in a bag. But let's talk about the Miami Heat and the Knicks.
Yeah, what do you think? I will say this: there's hope because my younger grandson Christian, I believe, has degenerate tendencies, whereas his brother Liam wants to be Jeff Bezos and keeps every dime that he has. I think Christian, is going to be a gambler. I believe that. He's 5 years old. He's turning 5 this month.
All right, good for him.
Yeah. What do you got on the Heat?
I think they win tonight. Bronson's not going to score 38 again. Randall's not playing well. And, I think Butler has a big game when we get to the Eastern Conference again for the second year in a row. So I would lay the points with the Heat. I mean, the Warriors the other night, that was a crazy line. They were laying 7. Nobody was laying more than 3 in that series. Lakers were up, and I said to my buddy, I said, it's a suck-it. They want you to bet the Lakers, and the Warriors are going to have blowing them out. I think the Warriors are going to have a tough time tonight, but I like the Heat.
Yeah, what do you make of that? I mean, the Warriors, all season long, that was a big storyline. They sucked on the road. They did manage to win games in Sacramento. What do you think? Did they win on the road tonight and extend the series and maybe even win it?
It's going to be tough because Anthony Davis is on Curry a lot. And, the Lakers have the height. The Warriors are not a big team. You know that. They just shoot the ball so good that they don't need guys. I mean, they're not short, but they're all 6'8", 6'7", 6'9". The Lakers are a little tall. If AD has a bad game, then they win. I mean, it's pretty simple as that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the Lakers close it out. Game 7, the Warriors are home. Yeah, I mean, I think, that'd be tough on Sunday. I wouldn't want to go against them.
Do you believe it's do or die for both of these home teams? In other words, if the Heat lose tonight, they lose the series after being up 3-1?
I don't know. The Heat might be able to win in the Garden.
Yeah.
The Knicks are not that good. They're just not. They're okay. I mean, I don't think they're that good. And we don't even have half our team. I mean, Hero's out, and he's one of our best scorers.
Yes.
If you took out Randall or Bronson for the Knicks, there'd be nothing. So, yeah, I think the Heat can win tonight. If they lose, I would still take them Sunday in the Garden because Jimmy Butler loves those big stages.
Yes.
He puts on his country music before the game, and he has a cup of coffee, and he rocks and rolls.
Lubie was very much, I don't know if you remember this movie or saw it, De Niro in The Fan, where he's obsessed with this guy not living up to his potential, and he eventually stalks him and kills him or something. That's how Lubie is with Jimmy Butler. He thought that Jimmy Butler took the night off the other night in terms of asserting himself into the game.
He scored 22. I mean, he's averaging 34 in the playoffs. He's not going to do it every night.
Yeah.
And he's got a bad ankle.
Yeah, maybe he is using himself sparingly.
That's the thing is no one's talking about the ankle, and he doesn't look like he's hurt, but he's playing like he's hurt. So I'm curious what the ankle is, but yes.
They probably shoot off.
Yeah, you would think he's full bore.
So Greek, how graceful were you in turning down your invitation to the coronation? I was curious about that because I
told Prince Charles, look, I don't like long flights. And I wouldn't fly that far for a hot broad. So,
I mean, it was.
I said to him, try to, wrangle in Harry and that grill he's with out in Hollywood. They're running them up over here.
You just told him the family had become a disgrace. Yes, very good. All right, Greek. Well, you have a great weekend, man. Good luck tonight with your Heat and all of your wagering. And it's always a pleasure, my friend. And I doubted really that you would ever be inclined to fudge an expense report. That just doesn't seem like you. Whereas in my case, to cover various gambling losses at racetracks, when I was out of town, and Lubie can attest to this.
I don't like questions. I never did as a kid. I don't like them as an adult. Don't ask me what something is. So if I got to ask you, then stick it. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I really don't. They bring you in the office, they put the light on you. What is it? $87. What does this mean?
How is it that both of you guys picked up the same check? That was the question.
You should have said, I bought dinner first, and then a couple other people joined us. they came as during the meal, and then
I forget how we got out of it. I mean, but I don't think there were any consequences of this.
That's what I would have said. I would have said we had dinner, a bunch of us, and then a couple other people joined us, and I didn't want to put it all online. So my associate,
we split it. Yeah,
he picked up. Yeah,
good thinking. Yeah. That's how it came out exactly half. Yeah, that's perfect. Greek, you're one step ahead of us. Even if you wouldn't delve into this, level of deviant behavior, you're one step ahead of us all the time, and coming up with rationale for it. All right, have a great weekend, my friend. We'll talk to you again soon.
You too, buddy.
Thanks.
All right, the Greek. Greek was all over it. All right, the professor coming up here in just a minute on the Defo show, and then later on the Gambling Gourmet. It's a Degenerate Friday. The consensus is very solid, Lubie. Miami Heat.
Yeah, we'll see.
So far, a unanimous decision. People recommending you lay the points, which I think is 4 and a hook. Or 4 and a hook. How many?
It's 4 and a hook right now. The Heat are favored by
4 and a hook.
Yes.
All right, we'll see what the professor thinks about all of this, and he's going to have a big board for us as well. Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, later on, and then my favorite day of the week. You know what it is, to do the Mike Mayo Lunchbox Show.
Gulfstream Park today.
It was a great week. I mean, that pizza spot thing, I still have the veggie pie, half of it in the fridge there. And wow, that thing was loaded up. He wasn't kidding. Like, a vegetable pie, what do they do? Most pizzerias, right? Throw a couple of onions on there, some peppers, mushrooms, usually canned. What else do they put on there? They don't have anything else. This guy's got like a complete Garden of Eden on this pizza. It's incredible. All right, we're coming back with the professor in a moment. Now that.
The time.
It's 7:52. Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in style. And you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Kodsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on in America. And again, if you're feeling like, what the hell is the point of being a billionaire if you're going to, like, as much as Donald Trump talks about the Justice Department out to get him and witch hunt, here's a real witch hunt. The real witch hunt is Ben Affleck in an Afro wig portraying you in a major movie that is constantly advertised during the Final Four. I would take a New York indictment over this 10 times out of 10 every day of the week and twice on Sunday. If my choices were go to prison for a couple of years over sex with a porn star or having Ben Affleck in a curly wig make you look like, and honestly, this is one of the better looking pictures. He looks like a much bigger asshole than most of the rest of the preview. Like, how you let this happen if you're Phil Knight, how you actively signed up for this if you're Phil Knight, I have no idea. Like, I assume it's just that Affleck and Damon ambushed him with this. Like, he had no idea. He signed off, and then he got to actually see what he's being made to look like. Like, Phil Knight, I mean, hey, look, we all know you have spent your life torturing children in your Chinese factories. And that's going to go down as a much more positive note than this stupid fucking movie. Right? I would much rather have them had left Ben Affleck out and made a movie about what goes on in your Chinese factories than have Ben Affleck make you look like this.
Enjoy your trip to work with lots of laughs thanks to Defo and Lubie. Now on the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to the show. A Degenerate Friday underway here. Jeff DeForest, we got Mike Lubie Lubitz, and this was great because the story first surfaced from the Vegas underground, and of course, the Derby turned out pretty well for most of the people that I know, and then we started getting reports about a situation at a certain casino where there was a gentleman there cashing tickets to the extent where they literally, my favorite call in all of degenerate gambling is, "Hey, Lou, money room." And they had to go to the money room to pay this guy off, the professor, standing in front of him with what? I mean, what didn't you have in the Kentucky Derby? How are you, Professor? You must be good.
Unfortunately, I didn't have the super. I hear you have the same regret. We both probably should have cashed.
Oh, my God. Should have cashed that super for 15 dimes, for sure.
But the rest of it, yeah, all praises due to the Paulie Man. Paulie Man, I owe you a dinner anytime you want to collect.
Won't be going out socially for quite some time.
Great call on Mage. Yeah,
Yeah.
saved my week after a disaster at the tables.
Okay, I mean, and this is interesting because Lubie implied that you were going on a skiing trip, which we didn't realize that you were like Jean-Claude Keely.
Let's not exaggerate there.
Yeah.
No, very much not like that.
But he said you had skiing skills. I'm thinking it's a little late to be taking this up.
I'm not taking it up. We did it almost every year when I was growing up. So I've got extensive experience in the past, but no, Jean-Claude Keely. Well, yeah, maybe now that he's been dead for 20 years, we have a similar style. But
who was the other guy? No. Bodie Miller, the guy that kept
maybe a little bit more like Bodie Miller, where you just fall down and run into people. More like Gwyneth Paltrow, where I'm out there trying to injure old people for no
Sonny
particular
Bono,
reason.
I mean, Bono. That rest his soul.
All right, so I mean, okay, so you're in Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
And what? There was no snow, so you said
no. There was a lot of snow. In fact, there was so much they only kept the backcountry open, which is expert runs only. So,
oh wow, no, that could be pretty dangerous there. I would. think.
Yeah. I just asked Sonny Bono. So we headed back to Vegas.
Franz Klammer, right? Well, he was another one. Franz Klammer.
Good for you.
I want to say, was it Doak Walker? There's some football player.
No, Doak Walker. Yeah, he was a football player. Yeah. Oh, he was a skier.
No. There was another like NFL Hall of Famer who was paralyzed in a skiing accident.
Oh, geez.
It may have been.
Oh, by the way, thank you for reminding me. I meant to say one of my all-time favorites checked out the other day, Joe Kapp.
Okay.
Right? If you wanted an example of what looked to be a rather raw quarterback, it was Joe Kapp, was it not?
I got to say, by the way, Defo, one of my little pleasures here on Friday.
Yeah.
Every time I tune in, if there is a horrific, just all-time bad sports movie, somehow Defo is going to reference. Really, The Fan? That might
the worst
be
ever. Yeah. What a piece of shit. Yeah.
Somehow at the end of the movie, Robert De Niro has snuck onto the field as an umpire in a Major League Baseball game because he's talking Wesley Snipes. The only other movie where they tried to pull that was The Naked Gun. I mean, really?
Yes, it was Naked Gun. It was Naked Gun.
It was like somebody was watching The Naked Gun and was like, what if we did that umpire thing, but seriously? Yeah. Okay.
No, this is one of the worst sports movies. It's right there with One on One with Robbie Benson. I mean, it would be 1-2 in the category of worst sports movies ever made.
No, it's really true. If you are a sports fan, what the world of movies and television has done to you just because they feel like they've got you.
Yeah.
Like they're sports fans. They'll watch any piece of shit. And man, they have really taken it. I mean, whether it's Sylvester Stallone playing goalie against the Nazis while Michael Caine smokes cigarettes the entire way through a soccer movie. Like, literally, he's out there at midfield with a fucking parliament hanging. And
that was the Ishtar of sports movies.
the fan, some of the basket that, yeah, oh God,
The fan was
terrible
just,
sports movies.
absolutely awful. I mean, it
It
was
really
like
was.
Play Misty for Me meets Rudy or something. I don't know what
Honestly,
the heck it was.
it's not just a low for Robert De Niro. It might be a low for Wesley Snipes, and that's
Yeah.
saying something
Is
because
he the guy that got into tax trouble? I mean, maybe he just needed the money. Yeah.
yes, because he didn't pay the taxes on the fan.
Well, they probably would have bought his story if he got audited that he didn't get paid for that.
Well, honestly, if
Yeah.
the IRS were a justice organization, they would have taxed Wesley Snipes like 4 times for the fan.
Yeah,
They're like, yeah, you made us sit through that. We're gonna hit you real hard this year.
I can't imagine Siskel and Ebert held it in high regard in terms of cinematography brilliance. No, that was really garbage. I mean, De Niro had to need the money, right? Whatever his divorce settlement was,
I don't know.
Particularly onerous for him to make that movie.
Yeah, I don't know what he could have possibly been thinking at that point in his career.
How did Scorsese even touch him after that? I mean,
an excellent question.
You figure you just say,
because really, it wasn't that far from like peak De Niro. It wasn't made that long after like Goodfellas.
No, he was young. It wasn't like old.
It was before he did those like terrible Billy Crystal movies where it's like I'm just giving up and cashing in paychecks.
What bookie could
playing
he
a
have been
parody of myself
that deep in debt to that he had to make that movie? I mean, because it was probably like the cousin of some low-level mafia guy that put the script down.
Very possibly.
Yeah, and they said, "Listen, Bob, if you don't do our movie, that's going to be it. There's be no more Godfather, that's for sure." All right, so the trip was successful. I mean, you ended up cashing what?
No. The trip was very much not
Tries,
successful, but the ending
Mage.
of it was.
Oh yeah, okay.
Oh yeah. We caught
That's the best way, isn't it?
We caught 50 on the nose thanks to Paulie. We got the exacted. We got the try.
Wow.
Again, all praises due to the Paulie man because I was not looking at the Mage at all until we got the word who's the Paulie man.
Liked his horse a little bit. He's been working well on the farm. Now he's coming back. And like the jockey, J.J. Castellano, where you can really ride.
No, Polyman, he did throw verifying in there, which was a brick, but the other two he had, Angel of Empire and Mage, was the key. And everybody I know came within an eyelash of like gigantic scores, like you suggested. I think a superfecta box though is in order for every future derby. I don't know how many I have left. If I live to be 90, I have 18 derbies left.
At least a wheel, right? At least
something,
pick your horse and play them in all the spots.
You have to shoot for that part of the pot.
I agree because I didn't even play it, and but we had everybody that was in there, so it would have been a nice score.
Same 5 horses we boxed in a try. Supers would have cost 120, pick up 15,000. But that's what you have to play for in that spot. Because you would have to agree, Professor, it's the most unique betting opportunity that you could have all year. There are a million ways, obviously, to play it. There are a million ways to blow it. And you could be dead wrong about the horses that, no pun intended, that you're using. But if you do connect, I mean, there's an opportunity there to make, not necessarily a life-changing score, but certainly something that might change your attitude while you're out there in Las Vegas.
Well, everything is at least double what it would be on a normal day, right?
Right.
You
Easily.
catch that same race on your average Friday at a Gulfstream, and you're probably getting like 500 on the trifecta and a couple hundred on the exacta. You got basically double that. I mean, obviously it's a great, and then the superfecta. Sometimes even with a couple of the favorites on top, that can be, a couple grand. It can be a bomb.
Balloons all over the place. So how was the? Where did you take this in Vegas? Were you in the? At the Mirage. I like that sports.
We did hit up the Mirage. The Seminoles, of course, are long-term planning to tear it down. Honestly, the unfortunate thing about Vegas right now is because they are preparing for their own bout of stupidity, which will probably be even worse of a disaster than Miami is. They're planning for their own F1 race. So the entire strip is completely torn up right now.
Oh, wow.
And it is really difficult to get around Vegas at the moment. Even walking, you're probably talking about like normal the double the walking times going up and down the strip. So we were at the Venetian. So we spent a lot of time in that Venetian Caesars Mirage area.
Very nice. Yeah. No, I like when we took on the Derby there that time. I'll have another one when PC was the only guy in our group that had the winner. Yeah, that was a great place to take it in. So all right, so you had to be particularly excited. Were you the only one yelling for Mage?
No,
No?
but I was one of not many. Let's put it that way.
Okay. All right, sounds good. All right,
A
let's
lot of the other Pauling Man horse. A lot of Angel of Empire once Forte scratched. A lot of Angel of Empire support.
Yes. Yeah. No, the horse got bet down. I think went off the favorite in the race. Over Tapit Trice, who we're still, search warrants are out. We're still trying to figure out. I think I'm gonna have to tune back into yesterday's Mike Mayo's Lunchbox show to figure out because he named the finish of all 18 horses at some point during the program.
Why?
Well, we were supposed to be talking about pasta bouillonnaise.
Yes, he brought up the.
I don't know what possessed him. He went through the whole chart, man. It was crazy.
Okay, but he's a dedicated horseman.
Like holy Bill Nack.
I guess I can respect that. Not really, but
there was a reason, but I can't.
Sometimes you're just filling time, I guess.
Yeah. It's like when Eddie K, Ed Kaplan would be on, and there'd be nothing going on, but he was.
Hey, that was useful information when he was giving out the late Quinella double from Miami Highlight at.
Oh no, that was great. Yeah, for you especially, who was involved, with pre-bet tickets, but. No, he would end up reading the transactions once in a while. That's when you really know you're filling time on a sports talk show. When you go, well, look at that. I mean, I can't believe that Hofstra got a new women's volleyball coach. And
it is that time of year where we're going to be dragging pretty soon with the NBA sort of getting towards the end here. And there's definitely some times where I can see it.
No doubt. Yeah, we'll analyze the Dolphins schedule, which just came out. All right.
Yeah, that was. I love how everybody now does like a big schedule release.
Oh, wow.
Like
every
team has done a video. By the way, if you haven't seen the Tennessee Titans one, which they released on Twitter and Facebook and everything, you need to see it. It is maybe the greatest comedy piece of information I've ever seen in my life.
Very nice. All right. I was reading a note here from my good friend Sheldon G. Up at 4 a.m. to watch this, and I don't know if he's familiar with the big board, so stick around, Sheldon G. Where the show is just getting underway here with the professor. All right, your thought on
by the way, since
Heat
we
game.
mentioned it,
yeah,
all you F1 people down here in Miami, never come back. Did you see some of the things, the pictures, the prices that came out with this? They're selling $1,000 sushi plates at a fucking snack stand in a parking lot of a football stadium.
Yeah.
What kind of level of asshole do you have to be? I don't care if you're Mark Zuckerberg. I don't care if you're Jeff Bezos and you light $1,000 bills on fire just so your girlfriend Tony Gonzalez's baby mama can watch you do it. If you spend $1,000 to eat sushi in a fucking football stadium parking lot, the hell is wrong with you? I don't care if De Niro comes from Nobu himself to serve it to you. You're spending $1,000 to eat sushi in a parking lot of a football stadium. What's wrong with you people?
Isn't the lamest? It's like the lamest form of auto racing too, isn't it? I mean, nothing happens.
Why is it?
I'm watching this Sunday.
It looks like the bumper cars at Coney Island.
I'm watching this Sunday because this old dude wants it on TV because he wants it. They never pass each other. They just racing a straight freaking line through 100 turns. What? So the point is, and honestly, it does. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's a misperception on TV. It doesn't even look like they're going that fast. It looks like they're going. I mean, 100 miles an hour through a bunch of curves is fast. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't want to do it, but it's not like it's Indy or NASCAR where they're going 200 miles an hour and they all race in a straight line. They never pass each other. There's only like 2 places on the whole goddamn track where you could even theoretically pass each other if you want. Yeah. And they just make a bunch of turns. Okay. So guys who can make millions of dollars a year to race cars can successfully make turns without crashing. Great. That's fascinating. Sign me up to spend $750 to sit and sweat my ass off in a football stadium parking lot for 4 hours of that. Yeah.
Eating $1,000 sushi. Yeah.
Look at that left turn and right turn that he made. Oh, wow. Excitement.
And nobody knows who these guys are because the big guy, Lewis Hamilton, has fallen off the charts there. I know
has
that.
he? I didn't even know.
Yeah. But I mean, it does. It's conducted like a fixed race at Yonkers, where you're saying, "Wait a minute, man."
That's a very
two is going to pull out now. What are you kidding?
It is to car racing what the Trotters is to thoroughbred racing. It's just tremendously boring. Like I can't imagine why anybody's into this. Euro trash. Your sports are the worst.
All right. Before we get to the big board, we need your thought on the Heat game tonight. Are you with Lubie, the closeout city?
I think everybody's. I mean, look, the Heat, other than part of Game 5 and about 5 minutes of Game 2, have really consistently outplayed the Knicks. I heard the Greeks say it. I agree. The Knicks just aren't that good. I mean, you look at this roster. They just don't really have that start. They got a bunch of number 2 and number 3 guys. And the Heat have played very well throughout the series. I fully expect them to close out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we finally see Jimmy Butler have a big game in this spot. The Heat obviously knowing they need to close out in this spot rather than go back to New York. So, yeah, I don't know about the line because it keeps moving up. I'm already seeing it at 5 and rising. So I don't know about the number, but, yeah, I would definitely.
Oh, I see it 5 in the hook now. Jesus. Oh,
okay,
see.
there you go.
So it's the same. That's the thing.
I think pretty much the whole world's on the Heat to close out tonight.
All right, and I would imagine the consensus is all over that. All right, and then Boston and Philly are going to play a Game 7, so we'll see. Boston, Jason Tatum from the dead. He literally woke up. He was like 1 for 16 or something.
I knew you would be riding Jason Tatum.
No, I was sure.
He had 4 good minutes in the entire series, and now everybody's
he
like
hits
Jason
these threes
Tatum's
out of nowhere.
toxic.
It was crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. By the way, I'm sure up until last night, you were one of the people all over the internet talking about how Devin Booker is now the best player in the world, which he looked like last night when he was getting closed out by 30 by the actual best
Up
player
until
in the
then,
world.
though, he certainly looked better than Justice Winslow.
Really? Did he look better than Jokic? Did he look better than a 7-footer who goes for 30, 10, and 10 every fucking game? And for some reason, nobody respects this guy. I'm watching that game last night. I'm watching it.
It's because Jokic doesn't look the part when he's doing it.
Exactly, because he looks like a guy who drives
big
a
white
beer
slug.
truck for a living. But let me ask you a question: how fucking unfair would this guy be if he actually was athletic? If he actually looked like DeAndre Ayton or moved like a David Robinson, would we even still have the sport of basketball anymore if he was that kind of athlete? This guy would be like 50, 20, and 20 every game if he had like that body.
I think who is it? Is it Anthony Quinn, the guy that played Requiem for a Heavyweight? Yeah, that's Jokic. When he's out there for the Nuggets.
This guy makes this game look so easy, and you're right. He doesn't look like he's in particularly good shape. He looks like he downs a 12-pack at
scratched
halftime.
Up. He looks like Chuck Wepner, actually.
Yeah.
Really?
A little bit.
My question is, if he looked like David Robinson, would we even have a sport anymore? Would there be any point in anybody showing up?
Like a video game.
If this, he would be the creative player in one of the video games.
Yeah. No, Denver looked pretty tough last night. That's for sure. I turned it off when they were up 30 because I had a feeling that Lubie might even get on me about Devin Booker, who was sensational up until that point in the postseason. You would have to say. All right, Professor, let's do it, man. The big board, and this one we're going to dedicate to our good friend Sheldon G. Up at 4 a.m, obviously dealing with some kind of a bout of insomnia. This might put him right back to bed, but not this particular segment. I think he's going to enjoy this week's edition of the Big Board.
Okay, Defo, obviously one that this week plays into our black hearts here at the Big Board, and that is while we were gone, one of the big stories of the week, Alabama fires their baseball coach in a gambling scandal after the Alabama LSU game was taken off the board in the state of Ohio because heavy action came in on LSU before it was known that Alabama's pitcher was going to scratch. LSU does end up winning the game 8-6 because clearly starting pitchers mattered a lot in a game where they played with aluminum bats that finished 8-6. But it got us thinking, and there's been more than a few of these over the years. It got us thinking on a lot of things with this story, which we'll get into in one of the slides here. But it got us thinking. It's been a lot of these over the years, and that's what we're celebrating this week. The Big Board of stupid gambling scandals. Because this one definitely qualifies.
Yeah.
But we've had a lot of these over the years. Point shaving, schemes that have blown up in your face. Rick Neuheisel apparently participates in college football pools that cost $10,000 and somehow wins $1 million picking the NCAA tournament pool. I don't know how I didn't get in on that one. Why wasn't I invited? I can outpick Rick Neuheisel. Come on.
All of a sudden, he's Art Schlichter, this guy.
But anyway, That takes us. So let's start here.
Yeah.
And that is number 5. This happened in 1995. And that is someone actually paid Northwestern basketball players to lose games.
Okay.
Which you
Yeah.
talk about bad investments. If you had to pay Northwestern in the mid-90s to lose games, then, what the hell? Were you paying McDonald's for ketchup? Like, what the hell were you going? And the greatest part of this, there were actually 2 great parts, but the first one is they tried this 4 times and only 2 of them were successful. That's how bad Northwestern basketball was in the mid-90s. They couldn't even shave points correctly.
That is bad.
I think the team, the year, the primary year they were talking about, went something like 5-29 and still managed to cover twice in 4 games where they were shaving points.
Had to be
But
some
the even
unhappy
better part,
wise guys. Yeah.
And obviously, throughout most of the 1990s and into the 2000s, Northwestern football only slightly more successful than Northwestern basketball. During the investigation, it came out that 4 football players were betting against their own team with a campus bookie in a game where they were getting 15.5 points from Ohio State, and they only lost by 2 in that game. So Northwestern football players couldn't successfully shave foot points in a game against Ohio State. I'm just going to say, if you're a football player betting against your own team and you can't cover the number against Ohio State in that situation, yeah, maybe just quit playing football. Maybe this is the universe telling you need to do something else with your life other than sports, Northwestern players.
You deserve to be detected on that one and held accountable if you blow that situation, for sure.
Number 4.
Yeah.
Takes us into a situation which and I know, Defo, to be true. There are certain toxic combinations, and there are certain great combinations in life. You have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You don't have a peanut butter and lox sandwich.
Mike Mayo might. Yeah, he's done it.
Some things are just not meant to go together. And in the words of the immortal Mickey, women weaken legs.
There it is.
Imagine this. You're part owner of the Phoenix Coyotes. You are now coaching the team. You are considered the greatest athlete in the history of your sport, maybe the greatest athlete, the most dominant athlete in the history of any sport.
Honestly.
Very few people dominate a record book the way Wayne Gretzky dominates the NHL record book. And your trophy wife ruins everything because she's got to bet on football. And what bookie is she doing it with? Your assistant coach. What kind of level of asshole do you have to feel like if you're Wayne Gretzky, number 1? And number 2, I got to say, what is Janet Jones like in bed that he managed to stay with her through everything she has done to his life?
Yeah.
She destroyed the Coyotes. She raised a hot but complete idiot of a daughter. And if she's gambling tens of thousands of dollars on football games and clearly losing, what a value added is she bringing to your life, Wayne Gretzky? I got to say, looks-wise, obviously, she's still off the charts at age 60 or whatever she is. But I got to say, I think you could do better. I think you could do better than a woman who, when she wants to gamble, doesn't even want to take the 30-minute flight to Las Vegas from Phoenix, but is doing it with your assistant coach. And what kind of asshole was Gary Bettman in the NHL that they have an assistant coach who's running a gambling ring that hundreds of thousands of dollars. He's convicted in New Jersey, and they let the guy come back and coach 2 years later.
Oh, he came back. Oh my God.
Rick Tocchet, who was the assistant coach, went on to coach the Tampa Bay Lightning. What kind of jerk-off league is this? Where the guy not only is running a gambling ring, he's running a gambling with the coach owner's wife involved. And they let him come back and coach. Roger Goodell would have had a coach murdered for this. If you did this to David Stern would have had Rick Mahorn beat you to death in front of the rest of the league.
Yeah.
David Stern would have had you dropped in the ocean for this.
It's
Gary
ugliness.
Bettman not only lets the guy come back 2 years later. What kind of corrupt-ass league are you running, Gary Bettman? Was hockey really in this bad a position? What pictures did this guy have? I assume they were of Janet Jones, quite frankly.
Can't take down the great one.
He's a great one.
Didn't she have like 5 dimes on the coin toss? And what was that the same situation with the
Again,
New
she was
Jersey
gambling.
cops that they
She
got
was
taken down?
Yes, that's exactly the situation. Rick Tucker
Okay.
was eventually convicted in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah.
She, after threatening to sue, reached a plea bargain with the state of New Jersey. I don't remember exactly how the state of New Jersey was involved, why they were funneling bets to the state of New Jersey when they were in Phoenix and nobody involved was living in New Jersey. I assume there was some sort of mafia bookie connection.
You would think.
But again, you're in Phoenix. You could throw a rock and hit the Vegas Strip from Phoenix.
What you doing betting 5
you're
dimes
gambling
on
in
the
New
coin
Jersey
toss?
through the goddamn assistant coach. What the hell?
5 large on heads, please. That's kind of it. Who is this? It's Janet Jones. Yeah, go ahead, book it, Lou. All right, that's number 4. Women
All right.
weekend bets,
That-
and Wayne Gretzky being disgraced by his wife, Janet Jones.
That takes us to number 3. This, for those that remember, is Steven Headache Smith of Arizona State. At one point, he was,
I was just saying, 7 ahead. That was the great. That whole
at one point, the leading scorer in the history of Arizona State, who started shaving points during his senior year at Arizona State with a local campus bookie. They did it 4 times. The first 3 times were successful, and Headache was paid upwards of $20,000 to shave points. 2 games they did still win the game. 1 game they did take a loss while Smith was shaving points. Then, when they went for the big money, they went for $8 million, which they tried to randomly spread on the Las Vegas Strip in a game where Arizona State started out favored by 18.5. Line went down to 8.5 in a game against California. No suspicious action there. What a random Arizona State versus California, 2 teams who were not going to make the NCAA tournament, playing on a Thursday night at midnight. Game gets $8 million in action. That's not going to be suspicious at all. But to top it off, the local campus bookie and the bankroller here walked up and down the Strip, placing max bets at every casino, while the locust campus bookie was betting against the team while wearing an Arizona State sweatshirt.
No, Jesus.
Oh, God.
This, of course, led to the FBI's involvement after Las Vegas reported suspicious and took the game off the board. Bill Frieder, then the Arizona State coach at the time, gave the team a speech after being informed that there was suspicious betting activity, and Arizona State went to win the game on by 30. So the $8 million they got down went down in flames.
Wow.
Thanks in part to Headache Smith, who had 24 points in that game.
Unbelievable, man. That's the kind of burial that probably involves ensuing burials of,
Yes.
of bodies. Yeah.
Apparently not, because the bankroller in this situation was almost immediately arrested by the FBI and went state's information on everybody, including Headache, who subsequently lost his career because of this. But yeah, and it's still very much alive. I actually did a Netflix documentary
a doc on it.
about a year ago.
Very nice. All right, that's number 3 on the big board of betting scandals.
Number
Betting
2,
scandals, yes.
that takes us to the current Alabama baseball situation. And I hope everybody's read the details on here, because this coach has to be the biggest jackass in the history of college baseball coaching. Number 1, how much can you possibly get down at legal casinos on an Alabama what's the max bet on a regular season college baseball game? It can't be more than 20 dimes. And I doubt it's even that big. I'm guessing
sounds like a lot.
if you're betting this at a random betting station in the state of Ohio, it's probably like 5 dimes max. So really, what's the max you can get down? But if you Defo, we all know this, everybody who's ever placed a bet for 5 cents in their entire life is superstitious, right? We've all got our thing. Maybe it's a place where you watch the game. Maybe it's the time you call in the game. Whatever. Everybody's got a superstition. Everybody listens to omens when it comes to gambling. What did this jackass do? He called his friend who went to the Great American Ballpark, the home of the Cincinnati Reds, a ballpark that is literally on a street named Pete Rose Way. Yes. You had your friend go place this bet on a street called Pete Rose Way.
Doomed.
What was there? No, I'm going to lose and get caught Street Avenue to get. I'm going to get busted by the FBI street to bet on. Pete Rose Way, really? You were calling a guy who was standing on Pete Rose Way to place your bet on a regular season college baseball game?
Insane.
Yeah,
I mean, and he's on the phone with the guy, and it doesn't look good for the integrity of the game. They had no choice but to
Again,
go ahead
with
and let him go.
there was no betting parlor on Albatross Avenue to be found. Pete Rose Way, you're seriously
Pete Rose Way.
calling your friend to gamble at a book on Pete Rose Way, like on baseball, no less.
College baseball, not even Major League.
And that takes us to the number one stupid betting scandal of all time. A personal favorite of mine, again, happened in the early 2000s here, centered around the 2005 GMAC Bowl, where Toledo running back Quentin Richardson admitted to the FBI following a gambling probe for the University of Toledo that he took $500 to fumble on the goal line in the first half of the GMAC Bowl between Toledo and UTEP. Okay. Toledo laying 14 in this game was a high-powered offense. Came back to win 45-13. So you paid $500 to pay off a guy to fumble on the goal line in the GMAC Bowl, which he did. And they came back and won by 30 anyway. You pay Walmart prices at your gambling fix, you get Walmart results. Look, I don't want to pay $500 to shave points. If I pay $500 to shave points in a bowl game, even if it is the GMAC Bowl, I expect to get fucked. Like, really, if you can fix a game for $500, I wouldn't trust fixing a highlight match for $500. If you can fix a college football game for $500, you shouldn't expect that to work out. Like, honestly. Yeah. What are you trying to score? You're trying to score a couple dimes if you're paying $500 to fix the game? What could your possible upside be here if you're paying the running back $500 to fumble on the goal line?
It seems pretty marginal. I mean, would Joey Cornblit blow a playoff point for $500? No,
I don't think so. That's what I'm saying. I wouldn't trust a highlight match to be rigged for $500. Try to think the sport I would trust to be fixed for $500. I wouldn't trust the Defo Thursday Trivia Spectacular to be rigged for $500.
Chronic has won enough times to make you think maybe something was up there. I mean, it certainly has come under suspicion.
I don't think Lubie would take a dive at Land Lovers Trivia for $500.
No, to risk what you can get, that's not worth it.
$500 to fix a bowl game.
What if the winning prize was a wave runner as opposed to the usual $25 gift certificate?
But that's not $500. What wave runner's like $8-9 grand, right? I totally would expect you to fix a wave runner contest. It's like $8-9 grand, $500. I don't think anything's good. I don't think you're fixing the gift certificates maybe the gift certificate.
I know a guy.
Get out of here.
Speaking of unscrupulous, that used to go. I mean, he was a sick track degenerate, appropriate for this show. And what was often, at the track during working hours, while I at least had finished my job there that day, and he was hawking gift certificates to what was the place called? It was up by the Dolphins training camp, like quarterdeck gift certificates. He was selling them for half price outside the quarterdeck when we had a remote there, so he could get some capital to go down to Calder Racecourse and gamble.
Naturally, of course, yes.
So he had like a $100 gift card to the quarterdeck, and he literally sold it to some guy for $50 on his way in there. As we were representing the radio,
again, these are
that's like Bob Huggins going on the air and starting to call.
Oh God, we didn't even get to Huggy Bear. Wow, that was. I mean, and he didn't.
Can you imagine him in sensitivity training though, Ken?
Yeah, like really going to sensitivity training.
This is actually my favorite part of this story. Is they didn't fire him.
Yeah.
It turns out part of the reason he didn't fire him is because the president of West Virginia, Gordon G., when he was the president of Ohio State a decade ago, has also made some very offensive comments about Catholics. So basically, Bob Huggins comes out and makes a slur and insults Catholic people. They asked the president of the West Virginia. The president of West Virginia is like, yeah, fucking those fucking Catholics.
Those fucking fags. I mean, it's crazy.
The president can't fire him because he's also horrible publicly. You should look it up. I don't even remember the the context was Gordon G was talking about trying to negotiate a football series with Notre Dame, but within that context also made some very offensive remarks. Catholics.
So no wonder he was in full support of Huggins, who got suspended for like.
You gotta love the University of West Virginia. There, they're like, oh yeah, well, yeah, he said some offensive shit, but he said it about Catholics, so it's okay.
Is that right? Yeah. What would provoke a guy to do that? I mean, I mentioned this. Leslie Visser had set us up an interview with Bob Huggins one day, and he was out cold when we had him on the air. And he literally, I mean, we used to have the soundbite of it because it was classic. I mean, he just barely was able to get off a groan when we welcomed him. Big build up. Here we go, Bob Huggins, all the success. And he's like,
it goes back to you and Greek talking about your expense reports.
Well, Greek was a man of integrity.
Can you imagine what the liquor budget on the expense report looked like at the University of West Virginia when Holgerson and Bob Huggins were the coaches there? What was the Jack Daniels budget in the athletic department? Was it like $10,000 a month? Did they just pull a truck up next to the building?
Yeah. It was curious how both Sonny and I spent $4,000 while spending 2 weeks in Omaha, Nebraska.
Nebraska.
I don't even think that's surprising.
On
in the
legitimate
least.
expenses. Yeah. Hard to believe, right? I mean, and we
No,
were at the
not
ballpark half the time.
No, not hard to believe in the least, honestly. Very, very easy to believe.
They had a thing there. I don't know. Did you ever have a runza? Have you ever been in that part of the country? A runza was like
Is that
some
the
kind of
dough ball thing?
Yeah. It was like I don't know, like a kasha taco or something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's very popular at Cornhusker football.
Yeah, big.
I've never had one,
runza.
but I've heard of them.
They're all right, man. If you were Jewish Mexican,
what the
it was
fuck
fucking great. All right, Professor. Nice job on the score, man. I mean, and you were at Mon Ami Gabi also, right?
I was.
Spot there. How was the sightseeing? Good?
Yeah, no, the street is destroyed right now. Look,
Oh, it is?
I
Okay.
love Vegas, but until they get past this F1 bullshit, I would not.
Nobody should
recommend
destroy their
a
city
trip
for
this
an
summer.
F1 race. Yeah,
So
I'm with you.
ridiculous. Like, yeah, it all to attract Euro trash jerk offs. Like, I don't get it.
And Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, is he a big F1 fan?
They all were there. Mahomes, LeBron, Wade. It's
a lot of guys did the doubleheader. They did the
LeBron
derby
and Wade
that.
have fallen into this jerk off rich guy thing where they now show up to jerk off rich guy events.
Yeah.
So I could totally picture those two being there. I'm a little disappointed in Patrick Mahomes, quite frankly, but I feel like Patrick Mahomes spends his offseason dealing with his bitch wife and retard brother. So really any excuse to get out of town and away from those two is probably how Patrick Mahomes operates his life. His brother, by the way, got arrested for being a sex offender while we were gone.
He got arrested. Happy you hate him.
For sexual assault. So excellent job, Kansas City police, getting Jackson Mahomes off the street. The man's a menace.
All right, Professor. Good stuff, as always. We thank you very much for joining us here on the program.
You have a good one, Deef.
All right. Thanks a lot. Professor, ladies and gentlemen. So he's with you. He likes the heat. Heat.
I'm not as convinced as all you people.
Five and a hook, I don't know. I mean, that's starting to get up there a little bit. I mean,
I think logic dictates it. I have no idea what we're going to see. The Heat started looking consistent, and then that last game threw me for a loop. So, and the Knicks, look, they're playing for their lives still, and that's not going to go away now. So,
I think Hawthorne Wingo is going to give the pregame speech. Is he still alive? Wingo?
Maybe. I don't know.
There's one for you. Hawthorne Wingo, dead or alive.
I have to look at it.
All right. This man, I mean, it's not a Joey Chestnut thing. I don't even think the comparison is even remotely valid.
No, I think Joey, again, we talked with him on our show. I actually met him in person and talked to him.
Yeah.
Not a huge eater. He's a huge eating contest guy.
That's what he does. Yeah. He's a professional eater.
Exercises. He treats it like it's business. He's not just constantly eating. Because when I met the guy, he was thin. And I interviewed him like in person. And
he's having like a yogurt and some,
he's
pumpkin
very
seed.
healthy. He just does it as a job. Mayo, I think he would look at Mayo and go, oh my God, who the fuck is this guy?
Mayo is to food what Nick Cage was to alcohol and leaving Las Vegas right now.
Yes.
All right. So we're concerned. He was worried about me. I should have taken him with me to that urgent care place.
Yes, he must. His
And
tapeworm
said,
must.
look, you can see what's wrong with my wrist, but I don't know what's wrong with this man. I think a full body of tests is in order. I'll pay for them. Put it on my insurance tab right there.
Exactly.
Charge it to the government. Yeah, that'll be great. All right, Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, is coming up. I don't know. Does he still have the list of all 18 finishers in the order of finish of the Derby?
I don't want to know.
Kill like 5 minutes with that.
I don't want to know. I'm fine. There's enough going on.
The always exciting post-race chart.
Nice.
On a race that nobody remembers anything unless you won money, right? I mean, otherwise, you could agonize over it, which is great. Both my buddy Ray and I, we had a little monetary exchange last night out at Stingers, and it was appropriate, I guess, to say, hey, next year we sort of change our strategy a little bit. Because, how you approach this thing from a strategic standpoint is very important, is it not, Lubie? Are you going to play winners? Are you going to play exactas, tries? What are you trying to hit?
I would put more money to it. I would do some winners because that's the thing that sucked is we actually had it right. And because I didn't put money on just the winner, the thing I would have normally done, I got nothing, which
you got talked into, some psychotic exacta wager.
Yes. I didn't get talked into it. I trust Mayo and you, and you weren't around. Mayo was responding. Mayo was at a track. You weren't even at a track. Mayo was at a track at Gulfstream, where I was supposed to be, and I had already had it set up in my mind that I would go to Mayo.
The fact that you were a late scratch there is not a good omen. Yeah. No, I mean, immediately there's a negative cloud, a dark, shady cloud that hovers over your head from the fact that, Mayo had made special arrangements for you to be at Christine Lee's. Yeah. He had to have some pull there, to, get you, involved there and to get a table and everything. Because, I imagine everybody wanted to just hang out there all day, no? Eat spare ribs and, Chinese noodles. Can you call them Chinese noodles anymore?
I have no idea. I don't know. No. Bet-wise, it probably would have been the same bet because I wasn't.
And they have good house mustard there. Really good.
Oh, the Christian Lee's is amazing.
That's how I judge a Chinese restaurant, by the quality of their house mustard.
The bet was fine. Mayo knows me. I'm not a big bettor. So, like, you guys are putting $100 in a race, which you normally wouldn't do. But because it's worth it to cover your ass from almost every angle, you didn't end up doing that, but you tried to. He knows who I am. So he's like, okay, Lubie's not going to do much more than 20. Yeah. So it wasn't Mayo person or at home. It was the same bet because it seemed to cover the bases. Like fucking the two.
It was a good bet you made. You just lost. That's all.
Came out of fucking nowhere, and we made fun of the guy doing the two fills. You guys ended up betting on the two fills because of that, because of your superstitions. Like shit, we talked about that horse.
I'm thinking, what other fill besides Saltzman is there? In thoroughbred racing.
But in the future, I would do that and then go winner two, just to be safe, just not to screw myself. That would be the one thing I would do is put a little bit more money into it.
Yeah. No, you have to spread a few bucks around. That's why it's appropriate to take on a partner to try and go safari hunting. But you really have to go for the jugular. That's the thing. We did. I mean, had a couple of other things worked out. We were sitting on 20 dimes. I mean, you could always say that, but we had more conservative bets that we could have hit and come up with the same number that we ended up, throwing away by not making the superfecta box. But we never took that into consideration. That was the thing. Whereas from now on, like I said, I mean, you have to go by as you get older. You don't go by like any kind of measurements that you would get from a medical facility or numerology. There, you go by how many derbies do I have left, Doc? Do I have a chance to get out lifetime? And the guy will probably give you that usual look and just suggest that you might want to measure your remaining years and qualify or quantify them in some other category.
No.
But I'm thinking, maybe I have 18 derbies left. So there will be 18 superfecta boxes that I'll be making in the future, along with my usual 5-horse try box, which has been a very successful strategy over the years in a Kentucky Derby, where I believe it is the only event that I'm ahead lifetime in, Kentucky Derbies. Because largely based on the maximum security takedown, which changed that trifecta payoff from like 3 dimes to to 11, nice. Which was great. So, that gives me, if I was going to bet $100 into the Derby every year, that gives me, 110 derbies? Is that it?
Which I still do. I can say that.
So I won't see that many. I can't lose all of that money back. It would be impossible in a lifetime. And I think I was doing pretty well in the Derby before that because I've had some luck there. All right, we're coming back. Speaking of luck, man, Mr. Luck, Mike Mayo, he was all over it. He had pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s, pick 6s, twin pick 10s. And he now can recite to you the exact order of finish of all 18 horses. Which we're hoping he picks up the pace with that when we come back in a moment. Now that.
The time.
Let's see. So-and-so was 5th. Where did he get that from yesterday, man? That poor woman, Joanne.
Actually doing something that didn't mean for him to talk Derby. So that wasn't him just being Hank. The fact that he just kept going down.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. 13th.
It wasn't like out of left field.
There's your horse, Defo. 13th.
And then he's like, wait, was that the 2? No, it wasn't that egregious. It was just the fact that he kept, wait, but hold on. I'm like, I don't want to hold on.
Yeah. How was that meatball you had the other day? That's what I wanted to know.
Go back to your 12th meal.
Joe Beja was mystified up there. He's getting ready to serve like 150,000 people various meals at Pimlico, and he's like, what is Mayo doing? All right, back with that in a moment. Now that, did we do that already, Lubie? I think we did. Sorry. It's 8:41.
All righty. Let's bring out Mayo. Let's do this.
Ponies in Style at Champions, the outstanding simulcasting room at beautiful Hialeah Park. Yes, the grand old lady of thoroughbred racing has never been more vibrant, and you can wager on the races from the top tracks around the country while enjoying a cocktail at the Brass Rail Bar or any of the fine food served throughout the facility. If poker is your game, you're covered in Style, and you can play all your favorite Vegas-style games, including blackjack, craps, and roulette, in Hialeah Park's sizzling hot casino. Get a player's card when you walk through the door for all kinds of generous amenities, including our favorite, free play, when you come out to the ultimate casino and entertainment destination, Hialeah Park.
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar, and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
Are you looking to buy your first home? Have you been turned down for a loan? Do you need to refinance or get money out of your home? Call Michael Codsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. He's been helping the South Florida community get mortgages for 30 years.
Hi, this is Michael Codsey, CEO of Choice Mortgage. We have the most competitive fixed rates in the market. Call me 24/7, 561-441-2730. And remember, I don't just work banking hours. To make the right choice for your home, call Choice Mortgage today.
He'll fight Brian Cox in the locker room. He'll challenge Bill Parcells to a verbal shout out. He'll stare down Johnny Chan while holding pocket twos.
And then he goes
Mike
to
Mayo,
the
the
London
Gambling
Business
Gourmet.
School for the savants.
How about that? Yeah.
I will crush
London
your
School
hopes
of
and
Finance.
dreams with it.
Mike
Oh,
Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, joins us here.
I do all those things, and I also crush your hopes and dreams with a 3-word text giving you the bad news about game 1.
Well, this was particularly brutal, Michael. I thank you for doing that.
The modern day odd couple, Defo and Lubie, are on now. It is, of course, the Defo Show.
Just wondering on your ancestry chart there, Mike Mayo. And we welcome Mike Mayo to a Degenerate Friday here on the Defo Show, along with Mike Lubie Lubitz. Was there any undertaking, involved in the careers of any of your ancestors, immediate family? Your dad wasn't an undertaker, was he? Because you love playing the Grim Reaper. You really do.
My father and grandfather were both dentists. One of my great grandfathers was actually a rabbi, like an Orthodox rabbi. It's hard to imagine. As I sit here eating my peanut butter, and
he had to be
lox
rolling
bagel.
over in his grave when you were, when you were giving up stuff for Lent.
Peanut butter and
Defo didn't even hear me. I'm eating
What
a
do you
peanut butter and lox bagel in honor of Ken.
You should, yeah. No, that would be something that you would do, though. No?
100% do that.
No, it's actually I just got a fresh sesame bagel from Grandpa's with the lox spread, the cream cheese. It's fucking delicious.
I love their
So
Yeah.
good.
No, it's good stuff. Yeah.
So good.
All right. Very
I have
good.
a bread and cheese problem this week, gentlemen. It seems like every meal I'm consuming bread and dough and cheese, whether it be pizza. Last night, the poker room at the dog track in Hallandale, whatever they call it now, the Big Sleazy, the Big Easy, the Mardi Gras. I had a grilled cheese and bacon. They do an excellent grilled cheese there.
Is that right?
Unfortunately, I'm very bitter because my good luck run is over. I bubbled in the poker tournament last night. It was one of these $50, 5,000 guarantee, 6,000 in the prize pool, 10 get paid, and I got knocked out in 11th place.
Oh, geez.
Really
Are you kidding me?
Did you want to punch a hole in the wall somewhere, or
No.
did you? No.
I just get my grumpy coat and move along.
No, you react to losses the same way like Phil Hellmuth used to.
Hey,
Where,
there's a Phil
yeah.
Hellmuth, Phil Hendry, Phil Saltzman, and of course our friend Phil Marrow from the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. And that's why I started talking about two Phils, because his father is named Phil, and there were two Phils. They both are in Hollywood. They were watching the race together, cheering them on. They did the Defo angle, the reverse exacta. They hit the race. I hit the race. Defo hit the race. Lubie got split, and I just looked it up, and you started talking about it again, which is great because it reminded me that you owe me $12 for your losing exacta.
I thought it was $24.
Who finished 13th?
It was 24. You did an exacta and a traffic. Oh yeah, and okay. So I got into the whole chart yesterday.
Well, what happened to your head yesterday? I mean, were you on some kind of OxyContin or something? Because you're doing the food show, and then I don't know how you even got onto this.
Can I explain it now?
Can I explain it?
Yes, I'm actually.
I don't know that
let me do
it's
some
explainable.
mansplaining. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Every year, usually in the Derby, I don't have any success. Usually, what happens is me and you or somebody that you give, that you give out horses with, we end up having the reverse exacta, which is the bottom two finishers.
Okay.
I wanted to see who was the reverse exacta, and actually the reverse trifecta. And, I found that Cyclone Mischief was the last place finisher, was a horse I liked with Irad Ortiz, who drew into the race. And then second to last was somebody that we now love to hate, and Schadenfreude. Florent Giroux was aboard. Jace's Road was the second to last. So that was the reverse exacta. And rounding out the reverse try, sorry, Paulie, man, he did hit the big ones at the top, but verifying. Cheap speed. You just
didn't run so good. Some bad fractions.
All over,
yeah. So verifying completes the reverse trifecta. I will spare the listening audience and viewing audience of.
Can you read the whole list again?
No, I will not. You can look it up on Equibase. Go fuck yourself, everybody.com.
That was great, man. You know what? The program director in me is thinking, what the hell is going on out there? All right. Now, are you, Sarni might know this. I don't know.
Yes. Did you catch the big win the other night? The UCLA Bruins won the men's volleyball championship at NCAA.
But the women lost on the beach, I think.
How do I know this? Because at Shenanigans, for some bizarre reason, one of the 40 TV screens that was in the room that I was in watching all the games on Wednesday night was actually tuned to the men's volleyball championship NCAA, and it was UCLA against somebody, and UCLA ended up winning. And I was just thinking to myself, I think the only person in America besides me looking at this right now is Jim Sarney, and he's
no, he would have been interested in the women's tournament.
That's true.
Yeah,
not the men's. That's true.
Let me ask you this: this shocked me the other day. I went, I bowed out of the show early and went on that boat ride.
How's that, Paul, by the way? You got it checked, right?
And he went there, and it proved him right.
I did.
No, you went to the wrong one. It's like you ordered the wrong food. You went to the wrong urgent care.
It was sort of recommended by the people that I'm going to see on Wednesday, and they said, this
was it Holy Cross? I mean, can you name names? Was it Chico's Urgent Care? Because that one I would not recommend.
It was in Hialeah.
I was going to say
Hialeah. Oil change and a butt lift before.
No, I bought a suit. I bought a suit next door, and then I got my wrist checked out. There were several ladies there that looked like they had just had their rear end inflated.
All these major hospitals now have urgent care centers, and they are so professional. And they have all the
I think these guys were
Memorial,
but they came
Holy
up with
Cross. I mean, just go to one of the
Tylenol. That's what they gave me for this. I'm hoping the guy juices me with cortisone.
This is going to be ugly.
But I had already diagnosed the thing and had probably what he was going to recommend I start taking, to bring this swelling down. And I was already on it.
What did he say it was?
Yeah.
Did he say it's tendonitis?
He had no idea. He had no idea. Yeah, I mean, he was going to have to conduct a couple of hundred tests. And I'll already be in the hands of a specialist by then, literally a hand
Okay.
specialist.
Oh, so you do have another appointment.
Wednesday, yeah. But
with a orthopedist?
yeah. And it was bothering me enough though that I actually went. I mean, I'm not inclined to do the Mayo route.
Rheumatologist, my
and
friend.
panic
You need
right
a
away.
rheumatologist.
No, it seems to be getting a little bit better. So let's hope that's the case. It's not 100%. It's like probably not even 10% at this point, but better than it was, which is good. Yeah, no more jerking off. That's the thing. Unless you can master it left-handed, which is nothing that we really want to discuss here. As you're slobbering
Is there
down
anything
this
funnier
bagel,
than a Jew eating a bagel and then getting a little Hitler stash?
No, you deliberately do that, which is great. I mean, I'm not sure that it's in engaging you so much with the fans' love. And as it is, they're starting to turn on you. I believe they are. They're starting to believe that you need an intervention also.
It's like our restaurant friends know. Like you can't please everybody. So if you don't like the shtick, then go.
Anyway, so I'm on this boat ride, right? So the big thing is to dock somewhere, and usually we go to Shooters when we go out with this guy Dave B.
Oh, don't go there. Did you see what the LES?
What happened at Shooters? Go ahead.
They were getting shredded for their Easter buffet.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, when it was like absolutely overwhelmed with flies, and they weren't changing the thing or anything like that. It was the same shit that was out there 8 in the morning and it was 2 in the afternoon.
They weren't wearing gloves. Oh, the glove thing gets me crazy. But anyway, go ahead.
I've had decent experiences at Shooters. I can't say that I've ever really had a bad time there. Yeah,
it figures you like that place.
I don't like the place. It's just a lot.
Have you been there? I mean, it's okay. I mean, you're docking a boat. You get up there.
I haven't been there in 25 years. I don't dock boats. I'm a Jew. I'm a landlocked Jew. I play poker. I draw the inside straights. I don't dock boats.
But you're very dismissive of other people's experiences. I mean, a lot of people like
that's
that.
What makes me a condescending prick, which is what the Gambling
Some people
Gourmet
are out on the
is all
intercoastal
about.
on a boat and stopping at fine dining spots, and you're eating a bagel and cream cheese at a dog track.
I wouldn't call Shooters a fine dining spot.
Track.
With all apologies to Shooters, it's just not that good anymore.
May not be. I
I'm
don't
gonna be
know.
honest.
We didn't stop there. We ended up at Boat Campers, which supposedly is closing down.
It is, yeah.
Sold out to developers or something. Nice piece of property there, no question.
13 million, 18 million for the
But
land.
what shocked me was, they had, like 50 screens. And of course, they had the racing channel on, so I'm happy because it was right above my head, and I got my mind bets going. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the place erupts in raucous cheering, and I'm thinking, "What the hell is going on? What did I miss?" And they're all watching some European soccer game. These people.
What?
How disgusting!
Yeah.
I mean, how ridiculous! How far fetched!
It happens on a Sunday, on a Saturday. Saturday, it's huge.
This wasn't Saturday. This was last Wednesday.
Remember it was
Oh. Like I said, every day of the week, there's huge soccer games now. These European Championship games, I don't know what's going on now, but all I know is it's gotten huge, and it pisses off Ken to no avail. The professor hates the European Eurotrash sports. So I say more power to the Formula One racers, more power to the footers, the footballers, the soccer players. I love it all. And
you really, I mean, would be involved, like the type of guy that would erupt in a raucous cheer watching a soccer game at a bar at 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
If it was Arsenal and I had money on them, yeah, sure.
Oh my God. No, that's you really aren't Jewish. Your grandfather was not a rabbi. There's no way, man.
I think he was a bad rabbi. He must have been the one that
he must have been that degenerate rabbi that we used to see at the Jamaica.
He snuck in the pork fried rice into the
very nice, very nice. All right, what do you think? Are you what were the origins of the term "run it back"? That's what I wanted to run by you. You would know this kind of thing. Run it back. Is that a sporting term? Where did it come from?
Where did this come from? It dropped in from a parachute in left field.
Run it back. We were talking about the origins of the term "run it back." Okay, so you're out playing basketball, whatever. And I mean,
okay, I missed this.
With me, it was more of a thing of okay, so you saw a couple of guys were coming to, and they would have had next if you don't continue to play, and you'd immediately go to the other guys. Let's run this back.
I'm only familiar with it when they bring out my burger and it's overcooked, and I say, "Run this back to the kitchen and make this fucking medium rare like I ordered it." You assholes!
Wow, you are that. I mean. Vicious today,
no,
Mike
I don't do
Mayo.
that. I don't do that. I'm grumpy because
you must have read like a couple of thousand Let's Eat South Florida posts that you had to.
Here's what I wake up.
You've taken on a
this
persona
morning.
of these people. I mean, you really have.
I go into my messenger and somebody says, Hey, I posted a post about Jay Alexander's, and it's been up there for 14 hours without being approved. I'm like, 14 hours. Oh, the humanity that you
Yeah.
have to wait for your post to get approved.
What-
Read the fucking rules. It says we have lives. Sometimes it takes a full day
What,
until your post gets up.
what was her
Fucking
complaint?
assholes.
Was it a negative review of Jay Alexander's?
I don't know. It was very important. I didn't. And you know what? You know what I do when I get a text like that, a DM like that?
Oh, that goes to the bottom of the list. Yeah.
Bottom of the list. Maybe an extra 3 days. You know, it could
I'm
be the
surprised you
best-
don't maybe just email her back. I guess you can't, representing the Sun
It was a
Sentinel
he.
as you do. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I play favorites. I mean,
Yeah.
if it was a good-looking, attractive younger woman,
Well, you might have invited her to lunch like you
Right
did
to
with
the
that
top.
one woman who.
Invite her. That was a setup.
no, that was she bought me. It was a paid auction item, and it's not over yet. That's not over yet. But
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought that was El Finito.
no, she's out
that
of
was the word.
town. We might be getting together next week.
All right, so we're running it back though. I mean, from Wednesday,
Run it
with the
back.
Heat and the Panthers. So
Well, let's run it back and
do you
replay
think?
that game two
Yeah.
more
Results.
times.
Yeah, let's change results.
No, so hey, how about those Phoenix Suns? Boy, did they shit the bed. That was good because I have a friend of mine who's one of the associates at the Best of Del Rey app, and he likes gambling and betting sports. I don't touch real sports. I just do poker and horses. I mean, horses are a real sport. But you know, I actually gave him advice last night, and I said I like Denver. I also said I like Philadelphia, so he ended up splitting because he was
All right.
like thinking of going Phoenix. I said no, Denver is a better.
You could be
team.
selling your picks, right? One winner, one loser. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
that's fine.
You
That's all we
make out
need.
okay. You get both people's money. Yeah.
Oh, we're doing Gulfstream today. Do you know they're racing at Ascot, but it's not Royal Ascot? And I think they were doing some sort of British themed lunch at.
Isn't that
10
this weekend
tomorrow.
though? That whole Royal Ascot thing.
Well, it's not Royal Ascot. Royal Ascot is only for 4 days in June. This is just, but Ascot is a racetrack, and they also have some other meets during the year. So it's a 2-day meet. They're running today and tomorrow, and I think in conjunction with that, they're having some sort of tea and crumpets or some sort of special thing at the 10 Ponds. We'll get
Now,
into
can you
that
bet
later.
this when you're at the track today?
Yes. Well, you got to
yeah?
bet it right now. If you had a phone app, if you were in the 21st century,
I
like
don't want a
Nicky-
phone app though.
Like
the
Nicky Mohan.
temptation would be too much.
I don't think it'd be good for him. I don't think
Nicky
It's
it'd be
destroyed
Mohan.
Mohan is now just a shell of herself since
She's
you
loving
introduced her to
life.
that. Yeah,
We had
yeah.
a blast. That was fun last Saturday. It's too bad the Lubies couldn't make it there, but yeah, we had a good time at Christine Lee's, ate some wings in your honor and some ribs, and we didn't even have to leave our seats because we were just playing online. And yeah, Royal Ascot, they're running right now. I think the last race of the day is at noon. So if you get out, when we get out to Gulfstream, you'll be able to plunge on the final couple of races at Ascot.
I don't have that kind of luck. I don't have luck in those events.
And
I
I'm
don't know about you.
excited
Yeah.
because Gulfstream, the contest race this week, you know, we've got the first baby races, baby stakes races.
Oh, yeah.
2-year-olds. For there's 2 different stakes
Smart
races.
Stallion
tomorrow.
series going?
No,
already?
it's a little bit early for that, but it's basically the I guess it's called the something. Yes, the stakes, the Gulfstream Park Stakes, juvenile stake, the Royal Palm and Royal Palm Juvenile fillies and Royal Palm Juvenile. So there's
All right.
men and women, the 6th and 9th races.
You're gonna make them
tomorrow.
pick both the people that enter the contest?
You know what? I think they're both full fields. I just got to decide. I think I got to do the 2-year-old colt race because Luca's got a mount in that race.
Luca Banici.
And guess the name of it. It's No Nay Mets. So Luca on a horse named for the New York Mets.
For the Mets, the no name Mets. That's the name of it. Yeah.
No, N-O, Nay, N-A-Y, Mets.
No name Mets.
M-E-T-S.
All right.
M-E-T-S, Mets.
You think that has anything to do with the Mets?
I have no idea. It is owned by the Bregman family racing.
Okay.
I don't know who that is. They might be Mets fans. So would you like
guy
me to
that plays
recite
third
the
for the Astros? Yeah.
full
Can you go down that list
finish
of to finish
everybody
it?
in the race, and then I'll recount the Kentucky Derby?
No, we don't need that. We really
All right, tonight. You know what's going to happen tonight? I don't know. I'm bracing myself for utter misery, and I think I'm going to go play poker at the Hard Rock while watching the game, so I don't pay too much attention because it's one of those things like if they both lose tonight, then it's like City.
No, we have trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to just not get too emotionally invested in it, and if they win, it's like great. Now we get a whole nother round of, torture and excitement. And
let's hope they keep it going, man. It gives us something to do besides.
No,
talk
I'm
about
rooting for both teams.
The
I'm
Marlins
just
there.
bracing for the worst.
We got to run. All right, we'll see you out at Gulfstream Park. Mike Mayo, the Gambling Gourmet, ladies and gentlemen. Gulfstream Park later on. have a pick 5 ready. Lubie, that was fun, and I will see you at Gulfstream Park later on this afternoon. And yes, I'll have that little biscuit for you for sure.
Good man.
All right. And people, thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know what we accomplished there, but we did manage to dodge Mayo reading the entire order of finish of the 18 horses in the Kentucky Derby. Yeah. Scintillating stuff, right? That is very Hank-esque, though, isn't it? Man, you know, the Tui, I thought he would run better. We love you, Hank. Hey, rest in peace. I'll be joining him sooner than I care to think, right? 18 derbies left. That's all I got. 18 derbies, man.
That's fine.
That puts me at 90, and I'm out the door.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
All right. Yeah. I mean, for me to make 90, I mean, that's a long shot. It's a long shot, man. All of that cocaine in the 80s, my God. How am I even here today? All right. Thanks, everybody. It was a great week. A lot of fun all week long. We'll do it again next week. Hopefully, the joyride continues with our local teams.
Please.
But maybe it doesn't continue in the second round. You know, let's put that to an end and move on to bigger and better things.
Yeah, please.
And for Mike Lubie Lubitz, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next time as we leave you know that.
The time.
It's 9:01.
Let's go to eat a damn snack.
Look what they done to my soul.